Hello and welcome. If you're in social housing here in the UK, just hearing the words bedroom tax can be enough to cause some serious stress. But what if the decision made against you is just wrong? Well, today we are going to walk through step by step exactly how you can challenge it. Let's dive right in. Now, all the clear, actionable information we're covering today comes straight from the experts at Pro Tax Accountant. They really specialize in helping people get through the maze of the UK's financial rules, so you know you're in good hands. Okay, let's cut right to the chase. Have you just had that dreaded letter drop through your door? The one that says your housing benefit or universal credit is being cut because of a so-called spare room? If that's you, you're in exactly the right place. So, what is this thing, really? Well, bedroom tax is just a nickname. The official name is the under-occupancy rule, and it really only targets working-age folks who rent from a council or a housing association. Essentially, the government decides how many bedrooms your family needs, and if your home has more than that, your benefits get reduced. And believe me, the financial hit can be huge. This is where it really starts to bite. If they decide you have one spare bedroom, the housing part of your benefit gets slashed by 14%. And if you have two or more spare rooms, wow, that jumps to a massive 25% reduction. Let's turn those percentages into actual pounds and pence, shall we? Imagine your eligible rent is £500 a month. That 25% cut means you lose £125 every single month. That's £1,500 over a year that you have to somehow find. You can see why it's so important to challenge a wrong decision right away. All right, so here's our game plan. We've covered the basics. Next, we'll look at exemptions. Then we'll break down the official appeal process, talk about the crucial evidence you'll need, and finally, where you might find some extra financial help. Okay, let's get into our first and possibly most important step, checking for an exemption. You absolutely have to remember that the letter you got from the council is not the final word. So often, these decisions are based on old or just plain wrong information. And this says it all, really. Mistakes can and do happen. So before you even start thinking about a big formal appeal, your number one job is to see if you should be exempt in the first place. Honestly, this is the quickest way to fix the problem, because if you're exempt, the charge just goes away. So let's quickly run through the most common exemptions, see if any of these ring a bell. First up, pensioners. If you're of state pension age, you're usually exempt. But, and this is a big but, if you're a couple, you both need to be of pension age. Others include approved foster carers, families with kids at uni or in the army, and really importantly, households where a severely disabled child needs their own room or where an overnight carer has to stay. And here's a pro tip specifically for foster carers, because the rules here can be a bit tricky. You are allowed one extra bedroom for a foster child. And the key thing is, this rule still applies even if you're between placements, as long as you've fostered a child in the last 12 months. That's a crucial detail that a lot of people miss. Right. So what if you've checked and you don't qualify for an exemption, but you're still sure the decision is wrong? Maybe they've counted the rooms incorrectly or completely misunderstood who lives with you. Don't worry, we're not done yet. Now we move on to the official appeal process. Let's walk through it. Okay, I need you to pay really close attention here, because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. Where you start your appeal depends entirely on which benefit you're getting. If you're on universal credit, you need to ask the DWP, the Department for Work and Pensions, for a mandatory reconsideration. But if you're on the older housing benefit system, you have to write directly to your local council. Getting this right from the very beginning is absolutely critical. And you really can't hang about. The clock starts ticking the moment you get that decision letter. You typically have just 1 month from the date on that letter to start your appeal. If you miss that deadline, it becomes much harder to get them to look at your case again. It's not totally impossible, but you need a very good reason for being late. So let's map out the journey. Think of it like this. Step 1, you contact the DWP or the council within that 1-month window. Step 2, you gather all your proof and send it in. We'll talk about what that looks like in a second. Step 3, you wait for them to look at everything again and give you a new decision. And step 4, if they still say no, you do not give up. You can take your case to an independent tribunal. All right, let's talk evidence. This part is, without a doubt, the heart of your appeal. A good argument is one thing, but an argument with solid proof, that's what wins. Your job is to show them why they were wrong, not just tell them. This here is a fantastic little cheat sheet for what kind of proof you need. So, for instance, if you're arguing that a disabled child needs their own room, you'll want a letter from their doctor or proof they get DLA or PIP. If your argument is about a student's room, you'll need an official letter from their university. See the pattern? You always want to match your evidence directly to the point you're trying to make. And here's another pro tip for you, and honestly, this one could save you a world of pain. Never, ever, ever send original documents. Always send photocopies, and if you're sending it all by post, please go to the post office and get a proof of postage receipt. That little slip of paper is your proof that you sent everything on time. So, you've done everything right. You've followed the steps, you've sent in your evidence, and that mandatory reconsideration notice arrives. And they've still said no. I know it's so disheartening, but listen to me. It is not the end of the road, not by a long shot. This is your next move. You have a legal right to take your case to what's called a first-tier tribunal. And the most important thing to know about the tribunal is that it's completely independent. It has nothing to do with the DWP or the council. It's totally free to appeal, and you don't even need a solicitor. You can absolutely represent yourself. Look, we know this whole process doesn't happen overnight. And while you're fighting your case, that shortfall in your rent is a very real, very stressful problem. So let's quickly look at what help you can get to bridge that gap. The big one here is something called a Discretionary Housing Payment, or DHP. This is a special pot of money that your local council has just to help people who are struggling with their rent. You can apply for a DHP to cover the money you're losing from the bedroom tax. And also, please talk to your landlord. Let them know what's going on. They might have ways to help. So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Do not feel powerless. If you get a letter that you know in your gut is wrong, you now know there's a clear process to fight back. Check the rules, get your evidence together, and stand up for your rights. Okay, before we finish, we have to do a quick but very important disclaimer. All the information we've shared today is for general guidance. The benefit system can be really complicated, and everyone's situation is unique. So please think of this as your starting point, not the final word. For advice that's actually tailored to you and your specific situation, it's always, always best to talk to the experts. The team at ProTax Accountant can give you that personalized guidance you need to figure out your next steps, whether it's this or any other tax issues you're facing. And it's really easy to get in touch with them. All their details are right there on the screen. You can call, send a WhatsApp, or drop them an email. Reaching out for professional advice is always a smart move. Thanks so much for joining us today.